Good morning, Rangers. Welcome to another day of safari. We're going to be exploring the letter D today. Yeah. Can you think of an animal that starts with D? Yep, that's one. Yep, also dog. Yeah, great job. So now we're going to go ahead and learn about some animals that start with D that you've probably never heard of. This is an exciting day because we're going to go ahead and learn about my favorite animal today. So go ahead, grab your field guide and your pen, and let's head out on safari. So today we're going to learn about, again, my favorite animal. D is for Dik-Dik. That's right. Dik-Diks are small African antelopes. They are some of the smallest antelopes in the world. They're only about 12 to 15 inches. That's like tiny. And they weigh less than a couple of pounds. They are the cutest things ever. And I actually learned what a Dik-Dik was the very night before I was flying to where Dik-Diks live, Kenya. Dik-Diks can be found all over East and South Africa on the grasslands, the savanna area. They're wonderful little animals. One of my favorite qualities about them is that they are highly monogamous. That means that once they find a partner, they mate for life. And they do everything together. They cuddle together, and I would say they hunt, but they browse together, and they run from lions together. And they give birth, the female gives birth to a single fawn. And the fawn is mature at about 7 months old. And as soon as that fawn is mature, they get kicked out the house right away. If it's a boy fawn, then the dad's like, son, get out. And if it's a girl fawn, then the mom's like, honey, you got to go. So isn't that cool? So what else is interesting about Dik-Diks? They have excellent eyesight, and they can run up to 26 miles an hour, which is really important because just about every predator in Africa eats them. So they're hunted quite a bit. So let's see. The females are slightly larger than the males, but the males have larger horns. And they have excellent camouflage so that they can blend in with their surroundings. That's another deterrent from being eaten. They're quick little things. The name Dik-Dik actually comes from the whistling alarm noise that the female makes when she feels threatened. So, Dik-Dik, Dik-Dik, I guess it's something like that. That's pretty cool. So again, they mate for life. They have large scent glands. When you look at a picture, again, go ahead. So Dik-Dik, D-I-K, D-I-K. It's very important how you spell it. And so they actually have these scent glands right by their eyes that they use to mark their territory. And how they do that is they sort of poke themselves in the scent gland with the stick, and then they just like wipe it on stuff. So that's pretty gross, huh? Yeah. So let's see. They are herbivores. They're little browsers, and so they like to eat shoots, fruits, and berries. And they don't actually need to drink water because they get all the hydration they need from the food that they eat. So that's pretty cool. So they're not too endangered. I think they're doing pretty well with their populations, and they are very closely related to another small antelope that lives in Africa, the duiker. But what's different is the duiker is slightly larger, and they live in the rainforest and forest areas of Africa, whereas the Dik-Diks stay on the open savanna. So once again, Dik-Diks, one of the smallest antelopes of the world, and absolutely adorable little things. So go ahead, D-I-K, D-I-K. Go ahead, Google a Dik-Dik. Maybe draw a little picture of it too. They're real cute. So I'm thrilled I was able to introduce my favorite animal to you. So D is for Dik-Dik. D is for duiker. D is also for an animal that I just learned about this morning getting ready for this class. The dhole. What's a dhole? Thanks for asking. Dhole, D-H-O-L-E. The dhole. It's actually an Asian canine. So it's a type of dog that lives all over Asia, and they're super endangered. They're also called the Asiatic wild dog or the whistling dog. They're endangered due to habitat and prey loss, and also retaliatory killings. When livestock goes missing, farmers and herders will blame the dhole, and so they kill them, and that's not good. That's not good at all. And so, again, this is another species that is really important to learn about and then also protect as well. And there are some protections in place in Bhutan and India where the dhole populations have been able to recover in preserved conservation areas. So they look a little bit like a mix between a wolf and a fox. So they're about the size of a wolf, but they have that beautiful brownish red coloring of a fox. They live in sort of like clans and social clans and with complex social structures, and they're carnivores that eat antelopes. So they compete with things like leopards and tigers for prey. That's the dhole. Not too much else I can tell you about them, so I encourage you to do some research on your own to learn a little bit more about the dhole, seeing as I didn't even know that was a thing until this morning. Although in my defense, I did know the whistling dog was a thing. I just didn't know they were called a dhole. So there we go. All right, so we got Dik-Diks, we got dholes, and finally, Dugong. Can you say Dugong? Dugong. It's sort of like a manatee, but instead of living in Florida and the Everglades, they live all the way from off the coast of Madagascar in Africa, all the way through the Indian and Pacific Ocean to the islands of Okinawa in Japan. But the most prominent populations of dugongs are found off the coast of Australia. So again, similar to a manatee, they're a marine mammal. They breathe air, but they are able to hold their breath for up to 8 minutes. That's 2 times as long as the water chevrotain, huh? So they eat seagrass on the sea floor. So they dive down real deep, munch, 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 munch. Then they come on up for some air and head on back down for some munching. So they can grow up to 11 feet. That's huge. And they can weigh almost 1,000 pounds. Whoa, no wonder they're in the water. Can you imagine hauling around 1,000 pounds on land? 1,000 pounds weighs a lot less in the water, that's for sure. They give birth to a single calf after a year-long gestation period. And the dugongs travel usually pretty solitary, but large herds can be seen when they gather for either feeding or mating. Dugongs and manatees is also probably where the legends around mermaids came from, because hundreds of years ago, before sailors knew what these animals were, they would just see these large floating swimming things in the ocean, and so they called them mermaids. So that's one possible idea as to where the legend of mermaids came from. Or the sailors saw actual mermaids. Well, we may never know. So, again, they're usually solitary or they travel with a friend. Remember, the buddy system's always important. They can occasionally be seen in large herds of several hundred individuals. They can live up to 70 years, so almost like people. They are protected throughout most of the range, but they are vulnerable to predation by sharks, orcas, and also humans. And some populations have not recovered from the negative impact that humans have had on them from hunting in the past. Also, other risks include habitat and seagrass loss and being hit by boats and getting tangled in fishing nets. So it is really important that we protect these animals, and the first step in protecting them is learning about them. So that is why I'm thrilled that you are joining me for the A to Z animals you've never heard of. You've never heard of safari class. So sounds like my Dhole is barking right now, so we're going to go ahead and sign off. But remember, join us every Monday through Friday for Animals A to Z. Today was brought to us by the letter D. Tomorrow is brought to us by the letter E. And we're going to be having our review and quiz tomorrow. So remember, catch up on A, B, C, D, and take your notes, draw your pictures, and I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow again for another safari. So remember, quick recap, Dik-Diks, Dholes, Dugongs. Yeah. Have a delightful day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, friends. Stay wild.